Today we're taking a look at these college basketball matches, which are happening on Friday, March 24, 2023, and giving you our team and total picks for today. Welcome back to High Stakes. Before we dive into our video, don't forget to subscribe and push that notification bell to get notified as soon as we release these sport prediction videos, and make sure to watch it till the end so you don't miss any of our picks. Also check out our Patreon if you want access our premium picks. Our Patreon is a way for us to help you improve your chances of making more money. You will find the link in description and comment section below. One more thing before we start, check out our new channel High Stakes Props and Parlays, where you can find our player props and parlay picks predictions. You will find the link in the description and comment section below. San Diego State vs Alabama. For the better part of the season, Alabama rolled through the competition and regularly won games by double digits. The Tide hit a rough patch over the final third of the season, but now has a similar look to the team that was rolling through the competition earlier this season. Alabama's offense is predicated on speed, ball movement, 3PT shots, and layups. The Crimson Tide also earn extra possessions thanks to one of the nation's best offensive rebounding. That has continued in the tournament, averaging 15 offensive rebounds per game. San Diego State has done a great job on the defensive end thus far in the tournament, but has also benefited from a lighter schedule thanks to Furman's upset win in round 1. The Aztecs have not met a team with Alabama's length and speed yet, and that will be a big problem on Friday night. Alabama is 4-1 at TS in the last 5 games and 4-1 at TS in the last 5 games against teams with a .600 winning percentage or better. I like the Crimson Tide to overwhelm San Diego State and move on to the South Region Final on Sunday. Take Alabama minus 7.5 points. Two top 5 defenses meet on a neutral court under the bright lights. This game will go under the total. Defense travels much easier than offense, and both teams take pride in getting stops. Alabama is the faster team, they want to get out in transition, but this is baked into the number as Alabama has gone under the total in 5 of their last 6 games. San Diego State is going to want to slow this game down even more than usual. They do not want to get in a track meet with the athletes that Alabama has. San Diego State's tempo is ranked 263rd in the nation, and they will want to slow it down even more than usual. San Diego State has gone under the total in 10 straight games. The under has to be the play. Take the under 137.5 points. Miami, Florida vs Houston. Miami not be able to win this one outright, but they are built to give Houston plenty of trouble in this one. Houston has dominated against inferior opponents all season, but after what Miami did to Indiana last week on the offensive and defensive glass, it's difficult to imagine them not being able to slow down Houston's frontcourt. Add in experience and length in the backcourt, and this favorable matchup quickly looks to be more and more in Miami's favor. Houston's impressive defense has also seen few times who are as efficient on offense as Miami is, struggling in their game against Alabama this season in a similar matchup. Additionally, according to Covers.com, Miami is 8-1-1 at TS in their last 10 Friday games and are 5-1 at TS in their last 6 NCAA tournament games. On the other hand, Houston is 1-6 at TS in their last 7 games, following an ATS win, and are 2-6 at TS in their last 8 games overall. Our team pick is Miami. In the course of their postseasons, including conference tournaments, these two have averaged a combined 142.6 points per game. The bulk of those points has come by way of the Hurricanes, who have scored 80 or more points in 5 of their last 10 and 74 plus in 9 of 10. However, none of the teams that allowed Miami to put up those numbers had a defense the likes of Houston, whose 56.6 points per game against is the second lowest mark in the country. The Cougars also rank 342nd in KenPom's tempo ratings, so they like to play things very slowly. Over their last 6 games, Houston has scored in the 60s 5 times. The Cougars will look to slow Miami and should succeed much more than previous Hurricane opponents. The under is 4-1 in Houston's last 5 NCAA tourney games and 6-1 in Miami's last 7. Take the under 147.5 points. Princeton vs Creighton. Creighton looked terrific in dispatching Baylor in the second round, but it's tough to think that they'll be as hot from the floor as they were in that game. The Blue Jays don't have a ton of depth to rely on as they basically played only 6 players in the win over the Bears. That group of players accounted for 192 of the 200 minutes that were played in the contest. Princeton is an effective offensive team, and they have gone 9 deep as far as players averaging double-digit minutes during the season. The Tigers won't beat themselves and will force Creighton to beat them with solid play on both ends of the floor. In the end, Creighton likely wins the game, but Princeton hangs around enough to cover the line in this one. Our team pick is Princeton Tigers plus 10 points. After watching Princeton's defense hold high-powered Arizona and Missouri to just 55 and 63 points, there is no chance I'm backing the over in this game. Arizona ranks 7th in the nation with 81.9 points per game, while Missouri isn't far behind, with a scoring average of 78.9 points per game, but Princeton has been in complete control defensively in this tournament. The under has hit in both of Princeton's games so far, and 4 of their last 6 overall. The Tigers boast a top 100 adjusted defense according to KenPom, while Creighton's adjusted defense ranks number 13. If either of these teams played at a faster pace, I may have given the over more consideration, since both teams can bury threes, but neither Princeton nor Creighton ranks inside the top 140 in terms of KenPom's adjusted tempo. Our total pick is under 140.5 points. Xavier vs Texas. Xavier owns a 4-1-1 ATS record as an underdog of 4.5 points or less this year, and while Texas does own some strong defensive numbers seemingly across the board, a 76th ranking in opponent true shooting percentage, 103.4%, is the fly lurking in the Longhorns' ointment. The Longhorns also rank 188th in opponent percent of points from two-pointers, 51.1%, and that's how Xavier loves to attack, ranking 45th in percent of points from two-pointers, 55.7%. The holes are there for the Musketeers to attack, and a neutral site record of 4-4 Austrian shillings, with an average margin of victory of plus 3.1 points and an ATS plus of plus 1.6 points in those games. Xavier is a squad I expect to keep this one close. The Musketeers also own a 5-4-1 ATS record with less rest than their opponent, and a plus 11.8 average margin of victory in those games, suggests that these guys have no problem staying at least lukewarm offensively when they are back on the court in a hurry. Xavier has yet to reach their average FG percent of 49.3% in any of the 2 tournament games so far, and while the Longhorns' defense might make it 3 in a row for the Musketeers, I do believe Xavier will knock down enough shots to really force the issue to where this game is up for grabs in the final minutes. It's why I've got to take the points and hope that the Musketeers' offense wasn't left on the plane. Our team pick is Xavier plus 4.5 points. Correlated with any likelihood of an Xavier Sewer ATS win is backing the high side of this total and expecting plenty of points, and that's exactly what I'm doing here. Yes, I know that Texas is riding a 7-game streak to the under currently, but Texas has scored 70 plus in 3 straight themselves, averages 77.8 points game on the year as it is, and Xavier's defense is the biggest concern in terms of backing the Musketeers. ATS Xavier could simply not get enough stops to stay within range for their offense, but that scenario does help out an overplay too. Considering any Xavier Sioux win is going to be shaded heavier to an over result hitting, and any Texas Sioux win is likely a lot closer to 50-50s in terms of where the total would land, I do believe going over this number leaves more wiggle room for error as well. Xavier's going to score in all likelihood, and that means the Longhorns should understand that they'll have to make sure they keep pace. Texas may be 0-2 OU in the tournament, but they were 7-6-2 OU in non-conference games during the season, owning a plus 6.3 total plus in those games. I think this game ends up with a quicker pace than most may think, with both sides understanding they likely need 80 plus points to win this game. Our total pick is over 149 points.